Right, welcome to another lesson in High School ICT. In this lesson, we want to look at how we work with styles. So we can have preset styles for a heading or a paragraph. And in our ribbon at the top, in our styles grouping over here, we have preset styles that have been created. And we also want to know how to use styles for later when we look at how we set up a content page. That also helps with the formatting of that. Alright, so if I click at my heading 1 and I choose heading 1 over here, you can see that it has a preset style. Heading 2, if I click on here, there's heading 2 and heading 3 and heading 4. Okay, and I can choose different styles that I want to use, a title, subtitle, heading 5, etc. And whatever I choose, so the heading will change. And if I click enter, it will keep that, choose to make another style. Okay, so how do I go and edit a style that I've created, and how do I create a new style? That's what we want to look at. So let's go and create a new style, and I'm going to base it on heading 1. So remember with Word that there are different ways to get to the same outcome or get to the same place that I want to be to do any formatting. So if I, for example, I right click on heading 1, I can right click on any of them and the same pop-up box will come up. I can update, I can modify, I can rename, etc. And if I click on the more button, I can also go and create a new style, and manage styles. We'll come to that in a minute. Or I can go to the actual heading, click on the drop down, and I get that same pop-up, and if I click modify, I get that box. Or if I right click and I say modify, I get the pop-up box. Right, so what I want to do is I want to create a new heading, and I'm going to call this say practice heading. It could be the name that I give to a paragraph. It doesn't necessarily have to be the heading. It could be a paragraph as well. And I'm going to base it on, and I can choose if I've got preset. So I'm just going to say normal. And now what I can do is go and say, well, for this particular paragraph that I use or heading that I use throughout my document, I want it to be a certain size, I want a certain font, I want a certain color, etc. So when we look at the house style that we would use, we can preset it so that all our headings will have the same look and feel, all our paragraphs, the spacing, etc. will all be the same. So let's say I'm going to make this Comic Sans, and I'm going to change it to 20. I want to bold it, and I want to change the font color to, say, green. I can then decide that I want to center it. I can change my line spacing, I can change my paragraph spacing, etc. Okay, so let's keep this in the center, and if you look in this little bit at the bottom over here, I've got my paragraph spacing. You can see, oh sorry, my line spacing, apologies, line spacing, and I've also got my paragraph spacing that I can change, and you can see it's changing to 12 to 18, moving up. I can bring it down as well. Okay, and then I can indent to the left or the right, etc. Okay, I can also go to format, and I can also change the font, so it brings up my font pop-up box. I can change the paragraph, and it brings up my paragraph spacing, and again, if we look over here in this box over here, we've got before, and I can also change it over here to 6. So before the paragraph, the spacing between each paragraph is in 6, and after I can make it 18, or I can also change it to 6. And just a reminder that every time you click the enter button, and I did that in the previous lesson, when you click the enter button, it creates a new paragraph. And remember, if you want to go to a new line within a paragraph, you're going to rather click shift enter, your soft enter, to go to a new line, so you can change the line spacing of a paragraph. But if you click enter, then all your paragraph spacing is going to change. And if you format all the paragraph spacing when you highlight all your paragraphs by using this pop-up box over here, then it's going to affect all the spacing that you may have thought was a line spacing in a paragraph, but it's going to then affect it because your paragraphs are going to get bigger, and actually it was you didn't want the paragraphs to get, or the lines within the paragraph to get bigger. Okay, so keep that in mind, please, that you always to create a new line in a paragraph, shift enter, it goes to a new line. Do not click the enter key to make a new line in a paragraph. That creates a whole brand new paragraph for you. Okay, I can also put borders in, tabs, etc. So there's a whole lot of things that you can do to preset what you want your particular style to look like. Whether it's I can call this, let's call this practice paragraph rather. Okay, so it's a style that I can apply to a paragraph or to a heading. It doesn't matter. So let's just go back and change our paragraph. I don't want it. I want it as 6. Whoopsie daisy. Okay, I'm going to click OK. And I've got my color, and I'll set it to center. Okay. Right, so there is my heading, and there's the new style that I've gone and created. So if I click on heading 2, there we go. There we go. Okay. And if I've got a paragraph, so I've got 2 paragraphs over here. Once again, if I click my show hide, you can see that when you click the enter key, it makes a whole new paragraph. You can see the difference in this line spacing. That's what I said previously. And I want to change this paragraph. You can see what it's done. Okay, so I can change the paragraph as well, etc. Okay, or I can change the heading to the practice heading, and I can change this paragraph. I don't even have to highlight the whole paragraph, and I can make it be as heading 2, etc. Alright, so those are some of the things that I can do with my styles. And if there's a particular style that you like and you want to use that style, so I've created this new style called practice, and I want to use that in other Word documents, because if I open a new Word document, this one will not appear. I want to export it, and in order to do that, you're going to go to your More button, and the far right hand one says Manage Styles, so you're going to click that, and you're going to choose the heading that you want to export, whichever one it is. I can't find my practice one now, but let's say it's this one over here, and I click Import Export, and I say right, I want, let's say heading 6, I want to take across, and I say copy, and it brings it across to this side, and that will then be populated into your other Word documents that you can then use going forward. Alright, so once again, just to recap, right click, modify, and you can modify your style. It doesn't have to necessarily be for a heading, but it would be a paragraph style or the heading style. Choose the font face, the size, whether you bold, the color, whether it's left aligned, center aligned. Choose your line spacing, paragraph spacing, and if you want to be a little bit more particular about that, you want to be a bit more precise, click format, and then you can choose whether you put in borders, tabs, paragraph, font, numbering, etc. Right, so go watch this video a few times, pause it, practice. Remember, that's all that makes you successful, is practicing, practicing, practicing. Till next time then, take care.